when we're dancing with the angels, the question will be asked, in 2019, what did we do to make sure we kept our democracy intact? Did we stand on the sidelines and say nothing? Come on now. We can do more than one thing. And we have got to get back to normal.
Impeach. Don't impeach.
That's what I said.
No obstruction. No collusion.
Well, I'm not a crook.
We have been given a set of facts.
Russia, if you're listening.
Collected and analyzed. Detailed in a 400-page report
smoking gun
by the men and women of the United States Department of Justice.
We got him.
This is the case against the president.
The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society.
Part 5. Rinse and repeat.
You encouraged espionage against our people, that you are willing to spout the Putin line.
This was the largest audience to ever witness an inauguration, period.
Sean Spicer, our press secretary, gave alternative facts.
And they say the noise causes cancer. You tell me that one, okay?
Well, I feel badly for General Flynn. I feel very badly. He's led a very strong life. Flynn lied, and they destroyed his life. I think it's a shame.
I guess it was the biggest Electoral College win since Ronald Reagan.
Talking about the judgment that the president, the vice president, and your team made to select this man as national security advisor when you had information that he had these dealings with Turkey. Why did you guys
But it's a question,
decision?
what dealings are you referring to?
Like a Russian fertilizer oligarch and a Russian aluminum oligarch. These guys didn't work their way up in the fertilizer and aluminum industries.
Now the president is abandoning them, essentially giving the green light to Turkey to clear the Kurds out of northern Syria. Trump making that decision after a call from Turkey's president.
A few weeks after he got fired, he retroactively registered as a foreign agent who had been working on behalf of the government of Turkey. It's not clear that the origin of those funds is definitely Turkey.
We were supposed to be in and out. We want to bring our troops back home.
He hoped Comey could find his way to let go of the investigation into former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn.
And that's why I very carefully chose the words. And look, I've seen the tweet about tapes. Lordy, I hope they're tapes.
Michael's my attorney, and you'll have to ask Michael.
Do you know where he got the money to make that payment?
No, I don't know.
I'm giving the committee today a copy of the $130,000 wire transfer from me to Miss Clifford's attorney during the closing days of the presidential campaign.
No campaign finance violation. So
they funneled it through the law firm.
Funneled through a law firm, and the president repaid it.
But do you know the president didn't know about this? I believe that's what
he didn't
Michael
know
had
about
said.
the specifics of it, as far as I know. But he did know about the general arrangement that Michael would take care of things like this, like I take care of things like this for my clients.
A lot of people have asked me about whether Mr. Trump knew about the release of the hacked documents, the Democratic National Committee emails, ahead of time. And the answer is yes.
Mr. Giuliani demanded that Ukraine make a public statement announcing the investigations of the 2016 election, DNC server, and Burisma.
Mr. Trump knew of and directed the Trump-Moscow negotiations throughout the campaign and lied about it. He lied about it because he never expected to win.
I was adamantly opposed to any suspension of aid, as the Ukrainians needed those funds to fight against Russian aggression.
Because he stood to make hundreds of millions of dollars on the Moscow real estate project.
You understood that Mr. Giuliani spoke for the president, correct?
That's correct.
Well, I would think that if they were honest about it, they'd start a major investigation into the Bidens.
And I am going to jail in part because of my decision to help Mr. Trump hide that payment from the American people.
By the way, likewise, China should start an investigation into the Bidens.
This $35,000 check was one of 11 check installments that was paid throughout the year while he was president.
That there were multiple, systematic efforts to interfere in our election. And that allegation deserves the attention of every American.
The report details efforts by the Internet Research Agency, a Russian company with close ties to the Russian government, to sow social discord among American voters through disinformation and social media operations.
If we had had confidence that the president clearly did not commit a crime, we would have said so.
The special counsel found no collusion by any Americans in IRA's illegal activities.
We did not, however, make a determination as to whether the president did commit a crime.
In other words, there was no evidence of the Trump campaign collusion with the Russian government's hacking.
A president cannot be charged with a federal crime while he is in office. That is unconstitutional.
There was no collusion with Russia. There was no obstruction and none whatsoever. I want nothing. I want nothing. I want no quid pro quo. It was a complete and total exoneration.
Trump immediately follows saying, quote, I would like you to do us a favor, though, because our country has been through a lot and Ukraine knows a lot about it. I would like you to find out what happened with this whole situation with Ukraine.
Read the transcript. It's all about the transcript. I have a perfect phone call with all of the horrible things that they've done. Read the transcript. You'll see the call. Now I'll give you a second transcript.
President Putin, he just said it's not Russia. I will say this. I don't see any reason why it would be. Well, I've done a lot of business with the Russians.
They're commies, you know that.
Well.
They're commies.
Tough. They're smart, and they're tough, and they're not looking so dumb right now, are they?
Well, it's Vladimir Putin. Have you ever met the guy?
Tough guy. I met him once.
Putin even sent me a present. Beautiful present with a beautiful note.
Já mluvím česky perfektně, víš, tak I speak the language fluently.
Trump's Russian laundromat reads the headline in the New Republic, quote, whether Trump knew it or not, Russian mobsters and corrupt oligarchs use Trump's properties.
I have no deals in Russia. I have no deals that could happen in Russia because we've stayed away.
See, and then you got the Miss Universe pageant. You're going to hold that in Russia.
That's in November 9th.
Coincide with the upcoming Olympics in Russia.
Right. Michael Flynn now admits he was working to help Recep Erdogan, the authoritarian Turkish president, during the run-up to the United States election.
Let's play what you said.
Sure. Did he also mention to me in the past the corruption related to the DNC server? Absolutely. No question about that. But that's it. And that's why we held up the money.
Got $500,000, while, among other things, writing an op-ed for The Hill saying how great Erdogan was. And he did that while we were deciding who would be our next president.
You have to ask that to Rudy. But Rudy, I don't even know. I know he was going to go to Ukraine, and I think he canceled the trip. But, you know, Rudy has other clients other than me.
You also find that he's been associated with at least 3 financial firms that have been shut down by financial regulators, including one that later surfaced in a lurid mob-connected stock scheme that involved senior members of the Colombo crime family. Tell me again how he ended up as Rudy Giuliani's date at Poppy Bush's funeral? Tell me also how he ended up having dinner at the White House with the sitting president of the United States. Tell me again why he's got all of these different pictures of himself with the sitting president of the United States.
Mr. Trump did not directly tell me to lie to Congress. That's not how he operates.
You had a group on one side that was bad, and you had a group on the other side that was also very violent.
He would look me in the eye and tell me there's no Russian business, and then go on to lie to the American people.
I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody, and I wouldn't lose any voters, okay?
In his way, he was telling me to lie.
No collusion, no obstruction.
I never talked to a Ukrainian official until the State Department called me and asked me to do it. And then I reported every conversation back to them. And Laura, I'm a pretty good lawyer, just a country lawyer. But it's all here, right here.
I'll tell you in a secret. Yes, we will definitely intervene. It's a secret, so that everybody can laugh, and so we'll go big. But don't tell anyone, please.
The Democrats downplay, ignore, or outright deny the many indications that Ukrainians actually did meddle in the election.
In the course of this investigation, I would ask that you please not promote politically driven falsehoods that so clearly advance Russian interests.
If you see proof in this Senate trial that this President of the United States violated the rule of law, would that be enough for you?
Well, I haven't. I'm nowhere close to seeing that proof. Let me say this.
Because people have got to know whether or not their president is a crook. Well, I'm not a crook.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. Indeed, I did have a relationship with Miss Lewinsky that was not appropriate. In fact, it was wrong.
Barr's move creates an unusual situation in which the Justice Department's conducting a criminal investigation into itself. Of course, under the rules, you're never supposed to investigate yourself.
There's never been a president who's been so transparent. This is a witch hunt. Read the transcript. It's all about the transcript. They're having people, I never even heard of some of these people. I don't know who they are. Well, I feel badly for General Flynn. I feel very bad. Well, you have to ask Michael Cohen. Michael's my attorney.
Well, you have to ask that to Rudy, but Rudy, I don't even know. I know he was going to go to Ukraine. And
Michael's my attorney, and you'll have to ask Michael.
There's an old saying in Tennessee, I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, fool me once, shame on you. If fool me, we can't get fooled again.
Stand up for the rule of law.
When we're dancing with the angels, the question will be asked, in 2019, what did we do to make sure we kept our democracy intact? Did we stand on the sidelines and say nothing? Come on now. We can do more than one thing. And we have got to get back to normal.
Rest in peace, Rep. Cummings.